This is video number 45 for bass players, and in this video we're going to do the D major scale and arpeggio with the bow. Now this shouldn't take too long because we've already learned the scale and the arpeggio. You should have been doing that daily with plucking until we then moved on to the bow, and then you were just doing the D major scale, but now we're going to add the arpeggio back in. We're doing it just like we did back before when we were plucking. But of course, you know me well enough now to know that we are going to do some echoing first, okay? So, I'll mention this again. If you haven't rosined in a while, you want to rosin. When you rosin, make sure you're just going in the down bow direction. Don't go back and forth. The hairs might rip out of your bow that way. Okay, so let's echo again. The tempo that I use right now for you guys is 60. If you feel like you need to do any of these things slower, you may certainly do so. You can change the metronome. I would say maybe try 55 would be a good thing to do. Do just a bit of echoing. Do two Ds, 2 Gs. Echo me. Go. D, D, G, G. Now do 2 Ds and 2 F sharps. We're going to go from D straight to F sharp. Okay? Try that. Go. D, D, F sharp, F sharp. Now notice when I was playing the Ds, I have my fingers covered above. Make sure that you're doing that. Okay, now do 2 Gs and 2 As. G, 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 A, A. Now do this. A, B, C sharp, C sharp. All right, this is getting a lot more complicated now. A, B, shift, C sharp, C sharp. Remember when you shift, slide the 1, add the 2. Echo me. A, B, shift, C sharp, C sharp. Now do 2 A's and 2 high D's. 2 A's, 2 high D's. Try that. Go. A, slide, add the 4, high D. Okay, so when you're going there, A is down, release, slide, press in with all 4. Okay, try that again. A, then high D. Slide. No. A, slide, high D, do the reverse. High D, and then slide. As you slide, you're picking up the 4, so that you end up with just first finger. High D, slide, A, go. High D, slide, A. Okay, now do 2 F sharps and then 2 A's. 2 F sharps, then 2 A's. Go. F sharp, A. Now go reverse. A, then F sharp. Go. A. Now reach, bring your elbow around for F sharp. As you go to the lower string, your elbow comes further and further around your bass. So make sure that motion is happening. All right? Now let's try this. It's going to be a little tricky right now. I want you to do D, F sharp, D, F sharp. Echo me. Go. D, F sharp, D, F sharp. Now do high D. Let's go down the scale. Do high D, C sharp, shift, B, B. High D, C sharp, shift, B, B. Try that. Echo me. Go. High D, C sharp, shift, B, B. Now we're going to try the D major scale and arpeggio. Now if you've gotten the arpeggio, remember it's the first note of the scale, the 3rd note, the 5th note, and the highest note. So what you're going to have to do, D, F sharp, A, shift, high D. We practiced all of those intervals, by the way. That was completely intentional, so we'd be ready for this. Let's do the scale first, though. Scale and arpeggio right after, just like you used to do with plucking, but now with the bow. And 1, 2, scale first, and go. 2 Ds. Now E, F sharp. Get that F sharp sounding good. Now open G. Bring that elbow back slightly. Think about the shift. Slide. Repeat the high D. C sharp. Shift. Now A, as I'm playing open G, I'm getting ready for F sharp and smack it down. We brought that elbow around. Now think, arpeggio, open D. What's next? F sharp. Next, A. Get ready for high D, slide. High D, slide back down. Elbow run, get ready for F sharp and D. Okay, now chances are you need to do that arpeggio a little bit slower. All right, so let's try that arpeggio just a little bit slower. Okay, play with me. We're gonna go, I say the speed of 55 will probably be good. Let's try that. Just the arpeggio. D, F sharp, A, high D. Just go up the arpeggio. That's it. 2 of each. With me. Ready, and go. 2 Ds, F sharp, A. Now slide. Try that again. Up the arpeggio. Ready, and go. Open D, F sharp, A. Slide, high D. Now go down. High D, A, F sharp, open D. Try that again. High D, and ready, and go. High D, slide down, A. Now bring that elbow around for F sharp. Open D. Now let's try it up and down, and a tiny bit faster. 58 is what I'm doing right now. Arpeggio up and down. Ready, and go. D, F sharp, down, A. Slide, high D, slide down, arm around. Okay, now we're going to try it at the speed of 60 again. Okay, once you can do this, you can then go back and do your D major scale with your arpeggio without stopping. Okay, just the arpeggio. Ready, and go. D, F sharp, A, slide up. Think about your slide. Arm around. Now let's try the scale and arpeggio together back at the speed we started with, which is 60. Scale and arpeggio, no stopping. Ready, and go. D, now E, F sharp, G, A, B, and get ready for your shift. Think about it, move. High D. Repeat that high D. Sorry. C sharp. Slide. B. A. As I'm playing G, I'm bringing my arm around, pressing hard, get a good F sharp. Now don't forget, you're not done. Now arpeggio. D. F sharp. Now A. Get ready for the slide shift. Repeat the high D. Slide back down. A. F sharp. D. Okay? If you still didn't get that, chances are your scale is fine. It's probably just the arpeggio. So what should you do? Practice the arpeggio slower. Practice it in pieces, just the way up, or just the first 3 notes, D, F sharp, and A, and then practice the shift back and forth, and then put it together, and then speed it up to 60. That's what you should be able to do before you go on to your next video.